It's Friday, May 19th, 2023, and I'm Dave Sobel. Two things to know today. 2023 privacy legislation wave. States are enacting diverse internet laws, and it's raising enforcement questions. And substance abuse rises among workers amid remote work. It's a hidden impact of the pandemic. This is the business of tech. I haven't covered legislation and felt it was worth revisiting. More state-level privacy laws. Tennessee has passed one too. I've linked to the International Association of Privacy Professionals to give some perspective on the coming red wave of laws. Quote, from Iowa to Indiana, Tennessee to Montana, and with Texas not far behind, the trend gets clearer every week. 2023 is bringing a red wave of state privacy laws. Washington State has passed a law requiring consent before companies collect health data. Under the new law, which comes into effect in March of 2024, medical apps and sites must ask a user for their permission to collect their health data in a non-deceptive manner that, quote, openly communicates a consumer's freely given, informed, opt-in, voluntary, specific, and unambiguous written consent. The site and apps must also disclose what kind of data they plan to collect and if they plan to sell it. In Utah, the legislature passed SB 287 back in March. That creates liability for porn sites that make their content available to people under 18. Earlier this month, Pornhub blocked Utah-based IP addresses and showed users a message expressing opposition. Virginia's governor signed a similar bill into law last Friday. Louisiana and Arkansas already had laws in place. And I want to pair that with a Verge piece on the problems here. Quote, the Congressional Research Service, or CRS, has expressed concern about online age verification. In a report it updated in March, the U.S. legislature's In-House Research Institute found that many kids aged 16 to 19 might not have a government-issued ID, such as a driver's license, that they can use to verify their age online. While it says kids could use their student ID instead, it notes that they may be easier to fake than a government-issued one. The CRS isn't totally on board with relying on a national digital ID system for online age verification, as it could raise privacy and security concerns. While we're on state-level banning, Montana has become the first state to ban TikTok. It demands that mobile app stores make the app unavailable for Montana residents. The bill is written such that it penalizes app stores for, quote, the option to download, but doesn't state the liability for already downloaded apps. It's set to be effective January 1st, 2024. Congress passed 4 bills at the federal level to give CISA new responsibilities for safeguarding open source software. I'll note the Senate's requirement for CISA to create a pilot civilian cyber reserve program to respond to incidents, and the House's requirement for CISA to work with open source to secure it better. Why do we care? Wonder what a patchwork of unenforceable laws looks like? Well, here it is. Take a moment and consider how to enforce these practically. The obvious problem here is that every provider and their customers must now adapt services and practices to accommodate. Beyond that, how do you feel about the internet being different in different U.S. states? That question is quickly becoming a reality. I'm not entirely convinced these will pass legal muster, recognizing I'm no lawyer. An underreported impact of remote and hybrid work, so I'm giving it attention. Daytime drug and drinking habits are rising. 27 million working-age Americans between 25 and 54 have substance abuse disorders, a 23% jump compared with the pre-pandemic days, according to a study by the Atlanta Fed. Why do we care? Listener Scott wrote in when I asked about the dynamics of the job market with a helpful perspective. Quote, the workforce is also the consumer market. Advocates for suppressing wages seem to forget that increased wages for workers results in greater discretionary spending. It's insightful and it feels very relevant here. Not only are they the consumer market, they're consumers and they're people. Do you need to change your policies to address this? Are you expanding mental health and substance abuse assistance programs, offering flexible hours, or providing other forms of support? Consider that addressing that may also be not only right, but cheaper than increased healthcare costs. Would prevention and intervention programs, such as employee assistance programs, support employees struggling with substance abuse? It's increasingly difficult to be an employer and manager now, yet focusing on understanding them as people and their struggles feels like a superpower for smaller organizations to stand out. Ditch your VPN. VPNs are awful, outdated, clunky, hard to use, and create security vulnerabilities. TwinGate's Zero Trust Network Access is easy to deploy and even easier to use and manage, while always making resources secure and invisible. With native integrations with MDMs, EDRs, and DNS filters, TwinGate enhances your security with the full power of your cybersecurity stack. TwinGate melts into the background, providing intuitive access and lightning-fast connections with the lowest latency. You'll forget you're using a remote access solution at all. Want to learn more? Check out the white paper on why you should ditch your VPN at twingate.com/podcast. Thanks for listening. Today, National Pizza Party Day. Isn't Fridays always about pizza? There'll be a bonus episode this weekend, and I will be back again on Monday. Have a great weekend. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. Like the content? Support the show at patreon.com/MSP Radio or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. If you want to reach our listeners, visit mspradio.com/engage.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.